Lost in the Woods with Coy here. We're going to get lost in the Word again. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. All right. All right. We're going to read from the King James Version Bible, and this is Genesis chapter 4, Cain and Abel. So let's see. We'll get started with this. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bore his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep. Excuse me. But Cain was a tiller of the ground. In process of time, so there was, I guess a lot of time had passed. In process of time, let's see, I lost one. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. I'm going to stop there for a minute. So it's been some time. I guess Cain and Abel grew up. And what's wild here is that God was still coming down on the earth, walking and talking with them. That's pretty wild that they were able to walk and talk with God. God was still coming down and communicating and having relationships with Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, going on. Okay. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. I wonder why that is. Why he respected Abel's offering more than he did Cain's. Doesn't really elaborate on that, doesn't say why. I'm just curious of why that was. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So I guess what that's saying there is don't let evil come in. Resist evil. Even when you mess up, resist evil and keep doing good. I'm assuming that's what that means there. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And from thy face so I guess he won't be communicating with God anymore, right? because it says, "Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid." So I'm assuming God's not going to communicate with him anymore. "And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me." So that's interesting there too, is you're thinking that there was at this time there was just Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, but they're saying it's alluding to me, it's alluding to there was other people on the earth. Because, "And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me." So he was concerned about other people on the earth at that time. "And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him not." I wonder what that mark was. It doesn't elaborate on that either. I wonder how people knew who he was and that they were not to touch him. That's be interesting to know that, wouldn't it? "And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord." So he was, in the presence of the Lord then, and I guess after that God didn't have communications with him anymore, I guess, or Cain wasn't able to communicate with God anymore. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure. "And dwelt in the land of Nod." And there you go again. There was the land of Nod. And in the earlier chapters, it was talked about Ethiopia and Havilah, the land of Havilah. So to me, I'm thinking there was other people because there were other lands and other places. So he dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden, and Cain knew his wife. His wife. Who was his wife? It doesn't say that there were any daughters born of Adam and Eve yet. So where did his wife come from? From the land of Nod? Were there other people on the earth then? Hmm, I don't know. "And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and the builder, and he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Arad begot Mahujalah, and Mahujalah begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Lamech, and Lamech took unto him two wives. The name of the one was Adah." So I guess there were a lot of people on earth then, right? And the name of the other, Zillah. And Adah bore Jabal, and he was the father of such as dwelled in tents and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of such as handled the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bore Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificious hmm, artificers in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, Hear my voice. ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and called his name Seth. For God said, For God said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Enos. Yeah, that's right. His name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Trying to get these names right. I might have hacked them all up. I don't know. But anyway, interesting. It's interesting that we don't get the full picture, I guess. Genesis doesn't elaborate on everything that was going on at the time. So I guess that can be confusing, I guess, because, in the beginning of the chapter, it talks about Adam knew Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain and Abel. Then it goes on and talks about what happened there. And then Cain takes a wife and was, driven out. I'm guessing they were still, I don't know where exactly they were, somewhere around the Garden of Eden. Excuse me. Let's see, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, because Let's see if I can find it quick. Okay. Where was that? Okay. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod. So these other lands, these other places like Ethiopia was already there, Havilah was already there, and the land of Nod was there. And there's evidently people already there. So a lot of time had passed in between this, I guess, and what was going on. Because then he took a wife, and where did he get the wife from? The land of Nod, I guess, which must have been, you know, a land with other people there. And where did they come from? It doesn't elaborate on that, doesn't say. Interesting, huh? And he goes there and he has Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. So Enoch, he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. So in order to build a city, you have to have people, right? Because you would have to have people to help you build that city. Couldn't build it on your own. And you wouldn't build a city unless there was people, right? So there must have been a lot of people. And where did all these people come from? Like I said, it doesn't say. Because he took a wife and he had Enoch, and then to Enoch was born Irad, Arad, and then, Arad begot Mahujala. Mm, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Mahujala begot Methuselah, and Methuselah begot Lamech. So and he took two wives. So there was a lot going on here. Then I realized, you know, very interesting. But anyway, that's chapter 4, Genesis chapter 4, and we will be reading chapter 5 next time. If you guys would want to come back and read it alongside with me, that'd be great. Um, but it's interesting that you read this and you read this, and I read it several times, and you don't really you rush through it and you don't really stop and think about it, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of things going on, and a lot of things that Genesis doesn't tell you, but there's little hints here and there. But anyway, we'll continue in chapter 5 next time, and if you guys would like, subscribe, share, uh, hit the like button, like I said, and share this with somebody, and subscribe, and make it a great evening. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming in. I'll see you next time.